I regret cheating on my American ex-boyfriend with his best friend. Everyone on campus thinks I'm 304. Dear true story, my name is Ababa, and I was born and raised in Ethiopia. I came to the United States on a student visa because my parents believed in education above all else. They sacrificed everything so I could have a better future here, and for the most part, I was on track. I had good grades, a clear plan, and even got lucky enough to meet someone during my first semester of college who treated me like a queen. But now, everything has fallen apart. And I'm not going to sit here and act like it wasn't my fault. I know it was. I just wish I could turn back time, or at the very least stop feeling like I'm drowning in my own shame every time I walk through campus. I met my ex-boyfriend, whose name I'll keep private out of respect, during my freshman orientation. He was loud, goofy, charismatic, one of those people who instantly became the center of attention without trying. I was shy, still getting used to American culture, and definitely not used to boys talking to me so directly. But he didn't make me feel small or foreign. He made me feel seen. I remember we were both in the same seminar for international students, even though he wasn't one. He said he just wanted to understand the world better. Corny, I know, but it worked. I laughed. He asked me to grab lunch. That turned into dinner. That turned into staying up talking until 3 in the morning about everything. Life in Ethiopia, his childhood in Michigan, my love for poetry, his obsession with basketball, our dreams. By the end of that week, we were inseparable. For the next year and a half, he was everything I could have wanted. He'd walk me to class, cook for me, stay up with me when I was homesick and crying because I missed my family. He taught me how to drive. He even helped me fix my FAFSA when I was about to lose my financial aid. I knew he was special, and a big part of me believed we were going to get married one day. He always joked about visiting Addis Ababa with me and dancing at our wedding with my parents. I loved him deeply, but I also took him for granted. The problem started when we joined this larger friend group on campus. One of the guys, let's call him T, was my ex's best friend from high school. T was funny, chill, and honestly, a little too flirty. At first, it didn't bother me because I figured that was just how American guys were. But over time, the way he'd touch my arm during conversations, or the way he'd call me gorgeous in front of my boyfriend, started to make me question things. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was flattered. I liked the attention. And I liked knowing that someone my boyfriend trusted also saw value in me. One night, while my boyfriend was out of town visiting his mom, T and I ended up alone after a party. We were both tipsy. I don't even remember what we were talking about, probably something meaningless. But at some point, we started kissing. And before I knew it, I was in his bed. The whole time, my mind was screaming, "Stop! What are you doing?" But I didn't. And after it happened, I was too ashamed to tell anyone, especially my boyfriend. I told myself it was a one-time thing, a mistake. I would never do it again. But it did happen again. 2 more times, to be exact. Each time, I felt worse than before. I avoided my boyfriend for a few days after each time, scared he would look in my eyes and just know. But he didn't. He still kissed me on the forehead like I was his world. He still made me breakfast and left me little notes in my notebooks. He didn't know that the girl he trusted was betraying him in the worst way possible. I wasn't the one who told him. T did. Apparently, they had gotten into some argument, and in the heat of the moment, T said, "You're mad at me over a girl who let me hit while she was still yours. She's not worth it, bro. Bros over hoes." I didn't even get a chance to explain myself. My ex went through my phone while I was asleep, saw the texts, the deleted photos, everything. He never even told me we were broken up. He just stopped talking to me, blocked me everywhere, ghosted me like I never existed. I found out from another friend that he packed up and moved out of his dorm early and changed his number. When I ran into T a few days later, I was furious. He had no right to tell him. But you know what he said? He was gonna find out eventually. You're not built for loyalty, Abiba. I just made sure he found out from someone who still had his back. Can you believe that? This man betrayed his best friend with me and then threw me under the bus to protect his own image. But the worst part, they're still friends now. My ex forgave him. I guess he really meant it when he said bros over hoes. Since then, my life on campus has been hell. Word got around fast. I've heard people whispering behind my back. That's the girl who slept with her man's best friend. I've had girls in class move seats to get away from me. Even the other international students have distanced themselves. It's like I'm carrying a scarlet letter. People look at me like I'm disgusting, like I'm some sex-crazed homewrecker with no morals. I've never felt so low. And the part that messes me up the most is, I am sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did. But sometimes I find myself thinking, was it really cheating? We weren't married. We were just dating. If he really wanted me to be exclusive, then maybe he should have put a ring on it. I know how that sounds. I know it's messed up, but those thoughts come and go. I'm torn between owning what I did and trying to find some way to protect what little is left of my pride. Still, the truth is, I miss him. I miss everything about him. His laugh, the way he held my hand when I was nervous, the way he used to say my name like it was poetry. I've been with other people before him and after, but no one ever made me feel the way he did. I haven't recovered. I'm not okay. I cry almost every night. I haven't been eating much. I barely leave my dorm except for class. And yes, I slept with T again after the breakup. I know, stupid. I told myself it would make me feel better, like I had control again. But it only made things worse. I felt emptier than I did before. Afterward, I tried to reach out to my ex and tell him that T was a snake, that he couldn't be trusted, but he wasn't trying to hear it. All he said was, y'all deserve each other. Then he sent me a video clip of some guy talking about red pill truths and how women like me are only good for short-term pleasure and not commitment. That broke me. I used to roll my eyes at guys who talk like that, but after everything I did, I can't even say he's wrong. I hate that I became part of his villain origin story. I hate that I gave him every reason to lump me in with the kind of women he warns other guys about now. I wish I knew this stuff before. I wish I knew how much damage I was doing when I gave that man my heart, and then my body, and then my betrayal. I don't think he was ever the same after me, and that haunts me more than anything. I didn't just break a man's heart, I think I changed his entire view of women. When I watch those red pill videos he posts now, where guys talk about never trusting women, only using them for recreational use only, and viewing emotions as weaknesses, I feel sick, because that's not the man I met freshman year. That's not the man who stayed up helping me study for my biology exam while I cried into my notebook. That's not the man who used to write little affirmations for me on sticky notes. I remember one that said, Ababa, you are grace in motion. The world is lucky to know you. How did I go from that to this? People online, and maybe even your viewers, might say I deserve it, that I brought this all on myself, and they'd be right. But I wish people knew the whole story. Not to excuse my actions, but to understand how a good person can make bad decisions and still feel remorse. I wasn't born a cheater. I wasn't raised to disrespect people who care about me. I just lost myself. And my desire to feel validated, desired, exciting. I destroyed the one person who made me feel all those things in the most genuine way. Looking back, I think part of the problem was that I never communicated what I was feeling. I felt like I wasn't enough for him sometimes. That maybe he deserved someone more American, someone who could vibe with his culture better, someone who wouldn't need him to translate jokes or explain slang. And instead of talking to him about it, I buried it until someone else, someone toxic and opportunistic, came in and made me feel like I belonged. But that belonging was fake, temporary. He never cared about me. I was just a way to hurt his best friend. I was a pawn in whatever weird ego game they had going on, and I let myself be used like that. I wish I could go back in time. I really do. I'd sit down with my ex and be honest about everything, about how much he meant to me, about the fears I had, about the little things I kept bottled up. Maybe if I had asked for an open relationship, and I know how wild that sounds now, but maybe if I just communicated what I was struggling with, I wouldn't be here, alone, broken, hated. Maybe I'd still be curled up on his couch, watching reruns of The Office and arguing about whether pineapple belongs on pizza. I know it's too late now. I've tried reaching out, apologizing, owning everything, but he's cold now. He's distant, like I'm just some statistic, just another lesson learned. I even offered to talk in person. No expectations. Just so he could yell at me, or vent, or get closure. He never responded. Sometimes I think about transferring schools, starting over, maybe somewhere people don't know me as that Ethiopian girl who cheated on her boyfriend with his best friend. But I know the guilt would follow me wherever I go. And I also know I don't deserve to run away from what I did. If there's one thing I'm trying to do now, it's face my mistakes like an adult, own them, learn from them, even if the lessons are painful. It's been hard not having a friend group. I used to be surrounded by people, not because I was the most outgoing, but because I had value, or at least I thought I did. Now people barely make eye contact with me. I've heard the whispers. She's gross. She'll sleep with your man if you blink. She's for the streets. I used to think I had a future here, a life, a community, but now I feel like an outcast. I don't even talk to my family about this. What would I say? Hey, Mom, remember that great American guy I told you about? Yeah, I cheated on him with his best friend twice, and now he hates me, and everyone at school does too. No. I just tell her I'm busy with school, that I'm tired, that I'm focused. But I cry after every call. I cry when I hear her say, "We're so proud of you," because I feel like a fraud. Even in class, I've stopped speaking up. I used to love group discussions. Now I stay quiet. I feel like everyone's judging me, even if they don't know. That shame sits on me like a second skin, and it doesn't wash off. I've tried journaling, therapy through student services. I even started going to church again. I'm trying, True. I really am. But nothing fills the space he left behind. Nothing makes me feel whole again. Sometimes I go back through old photos of us at the park, the zoo, even just chilling in his dorm room eating instant noodles. He looked at me like I was magic, and I destroyed that. I turned gold into dust. There's a part of me that still doesn't understand how I got here. How did I go from being the girl who was loved so deeply to the girl everyone warns their friends about? I know what I did. I know I hurt him. But why did I do it? That's the question I still don't fully understand. And maybe I never will. What hurts most is the silence. He never yelled, never cussed me out, never told me I broke him. He just left, like I was nothing. Maybe that was the point. Maybe he wanted me to feel the absence. And if that's the case, it worked. I don't expect forgiveness, not from him, not from your audience. I'm not writing this to ask for sympathy either. I'm writing this because I need to say it out loud. I need the world, or at least one person, to know that I regret everything, that I'm ashamed, that I ruined something beautiful. To anyone listening who's thinking about cheating, don't. It's not worth it, not even close. Whatever thrill you get, whatever validation, it fades fast, and you're left with nothing but guilt and loneliness. I would give anything to go back to the day before I made that first mistake, just to feel his arms around me one more time and know I still had his trust. Anyway, I guess that's it for now. I don't know if you'll read this. I don't know if anyone will. But if you do, I hope people understand that even the ones who mess up, even the ones who do the worst things, can still feel pain, can still want to be better. I want to be better. For me, for whoever I end up with in the future, if anyone ever trusts me again, and maybe in some tiny way, for him too. I still remember the last time I saw him. It wasn't some dramatic scene, no yelling, no slamming doors, no tears on the sidewalk. It was quiet, too quiet. He walked past me on campus and didn't even flinch, just kept his headphones in, eyes forward, like I didn't exist. My stomach dropped so hard I felt nauseous. I tried to tell myself it was just in my head, that maybe he didn't see me. But no, he saw me. He just didn't care anymore. And somehow that was worse than him hating me. Indifference is louder than anger. Anger means you still care. Silence means you've already buried the memory. I stood there, frozen, watching the guy who used to call me his favorite girl in the world walk away like I was a stranger. I felt my throat close. I didn't cry right there. I couldn't. But as soon as I got back to my dorm, I broke down. I cried so hard my roommate came back early and asked if someone had died. Someone had died, in a way. The us that existed was gone. The girl I was with him was gone too. You know, I think about all the little things more than anything. The way he'd wake me up with music. He used to say, "No girl of mine is gonna start her day in silence." The way he'd grab my hand in public, even when no one was looking. The way he'd brush my hair out of my face like it was second nature. These are the things no one warns you will haunt you after a breakup, especially one where you're the villain. I didn't just cheat on him. I betrayed someone who would have walked through fire for me, and I did it with someone he trusted like a brother. I know people hate cheaters, and I get it now. I used to think it was just some drama that happens in movies or on gossip blogs. But when you're the one who ruins something real, the guilt eats you alive. What makes it worse is knowing that T, the guy I cheated with, doesn't even care. Like, at all. He goes on with his life like nothing happened. Still laughing, still partying, still pulling girls. Sometimes I wonder if it even meant anything to him at all. If he ever looked in the mirror and thought, damn, I did my best friend dirty, but he probably didn't. He probably thinks I was just another body, another notch on the belt. Meanwhile, I lost my whole identity. After my ex blocked me everywhere, I tried one last time to write him a letter. I handwrote it. No edits, no filter. I told him I was sorry. I told him I didn't expect him to forgive me. I just wanted him to know that I still carry what I did every single day. I slid it under his door when I heard he was back for spring semester. I don't know if he read it. He never said anything. Later, I saw that he'd posted on his story, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." That hurt, but it was fair. Since then, I've been trying to rebuild myself piece by piece. It's hard. My confidence is shot. I used to think I was a kind, loyal person. Now I look in the mirror and ask, who are you? I don't go to parties anymore. I barely talk to people outside of class. I deleted my dating apps. I even stopped posting on Instagram because I don't want people looking at me like I'm still pretending to be something I'm not. It's been isolating. There are days I don't talk to a single person. Not because I don't want to, but because I don't think I deserve the attention anymore. I keep hoping the silence will teach me something, that the loneliness will help me understand the root of what I did. Because I know this isn't just about cheating. This is about how I saw myself and how I let that lead me into self-destruction. And if I'm being honest, I think I was scared of how good he was. Not scared of him, but scared that someone like him actually loved me. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for him to cheat first, to ghost me, to say I was too foreign, too different, too not American enough for his life. And instead, I became the very thing I was afraid he'd be. I guess self-sabotage is real. One of the worst parts of this whole thing is how it's changed the way I see relationships. I used to believe in fairy tales, that love could conquer anything, that if two people truly cared about each other, nothing could break them. Now, I don't even know if I believe I'm worthy of being loved again. I let someone love me so deeply and I threw it away like it didn't matter. So, how could I ever ask someone to take that risk again? But the thing is, I still want love. I want to feel safe again. I want someone to see me as more than my worst mistake. I want to be that girl who smiles again without checking her surroundings to see if people are whispering. I want to laugh at dumb jokes, wear his hoodie, and send good morning texts. I want to dance in the kitchen with someone I adore. But how do you find that again when your name is tied to betrayal? The rumor mill hasn't died down much. Every time I think people have moved on, something brings it up again. Last week, I overheard two girls in the bathroom talking about how they wouldn't trust any girl who talks sweet like that Ethiopian chick. I knew they were talking about me. It stung more than it should have. I wanted to walk out and defend myself, but I just sat there in the stall, holding my breath until they left. I don't think people understand how heavy shame can be. It's not just guilt. It's not just regret. Shame lives in your skin. It changes how you walk, how you talk, how you carry yourself. I used to hold my head high. Now I walk like I'm hoping to disappear. And even with all this, there's still a part of me that wants to talk to my ex one last time. Not to get back together, not to beg, just to say goodbye properly, to thank him for loving me when I didn't even know how to love myself, for showing me what it felt like to be treated with respect and kindness. I wish I could look him in the eyes and say, I'm sorry I didn't know what I had. But I don't think I'll ever get that chance. I don't know if you plan to read this email on your channel, True Story, but if you do, please include all of it. This is me at my rawest. This is me not making excuses, not asking to be saved, but just being honest. And if even one person listening thinks twice before cheating, if one girl out there remembers my name and decides to not betray the person who loves her, then maybe I can turn my pain into something useful. I know people will judge me. They'll call me a whore, a snake, a traitor. And you know what? Maybe I am all of those things. Maybe I was. But I also know I'm more than my worst decision. I'm a woman learning how to heal. I'm someone who's trying to grow. I'm someone who understands now that loyalty isn't just about not cheating. It's about protecting the heart of the person who trusts you. I didn't do that, and I'll regret it forever. But I'm still here, still trying, still hoping that one day I'll meet someone who sees my scars and doesn't run. Someone who says, you've been through it and you're still standing. That means something. Maybe that person is out there, maybe not. But I'm going to keep working on myself just in case they are. Even if I never find love again, I want to at least be able to look at myself and say, you're not that girl anymore. You learned. You changed. You became someone better. And to my ex, if by some miracle you ever hear this, I'm sorry. From the bottom of my heart. You didn't deserve what I did to you. And I hope you find someone who treasures you the way I should have. I hope you love again, laugh again, trust again. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm sorry I wasn't the same for you. Sometimes I wonder if this regret will ever fade. If one day I'll wake up and not feel the crushing weight of it on my chest. But as of now, it still sits with me every morning like an unwanted roommate. It follows me through my classes, through my empty texts, through the awkward glances when I pass by mutual acquaintances who know what happened, but don't say a word. I used to pray for a second chance, but these days I pray for peace, just peace. The ability to move forward without tearing myself apart inside. Because the truth is, no matter how many times I tell myself I've learned my lesson, that I'm not the same person. A small voice in the back of my head always whispers, but you still did it. You still hurt someone who trusted you, and you can't undo it. That's the curse of self-awareness. You know better now, but you can never go back and do better then. I guess this is the part where I tell you what I'm doing now. Well, I'm focusing on school again. I'm still here on my student visa, which means I can't afford to mess up. My grades dipped after the breakup. Depression will do that to you, but I've pulled them up, barely. I'm taking extra credits this summer to stay on track. I joined a women's support group on campus too, not because I want to play the victim, but because I needed to talk to someone, anyone. And honestly, it's helped. There's a girl in the group who cheated on her boyfriend too, and she's also been struggling to rebuild herself. For the first time, I didn't feel like a monster. I felt human again. I've also started journaling every night. I write about the shame, the pain, but also the little victories, like when I went a whole week without crying, or when I helped another international student figure out her course schedule. These tiny wins matter to me now because they're signs that I'm trying, that I haven't given up on being a better version of myself. And I've stopped sleeping with people I don't care about. That might sound basic, but after everything that happened, it was a habit I needed to break. I used to tell myself it was freedom, that I was reclaiming my body, taking control. But in reality, I was just numbing the pain, looking for validation in bodies that didn't love me, in beds that left me colder afterward. No more of that. I'm not looking for love right now, but I'm also not giving myself away for free. I deserve more. And the next man who gets a piece of me, he's going to get a woman who knows her worth, who has made peace with her past, and who knows exactly what loyalty means. As for my ex, I still miss him. I think I always will. But I've stopped trying to reach out. I've accepted that he's moved on, that he may never think of me again. And if he does, it won't be with love. And I'm learning to live with that. I also want to say something directly to your male audience. True story. The guys who might be listening to this, rolling their eyes, thinking I'm just another sorry cheater crying because I got caught. I get it. You're not wrong to feel that way. You've probably been hurt before, maybe by someone like me. And I know trust is a fragile thing, especially when it gets shattered, but please don't let women like me, like the old version of me, make you believe all women are like that. We're not. I promise you we're not. And if you're listening and you're the kind of guy who's starting to fall into that red pill ideology, who's starting to believe that women are only good for sex or that they're incapable of being loyal, please take a breath. I understand where the anger comes from. I understand why some of those philosophies feel comforting when you've been betrayed. But the truth is, it's a shield, a way to avoid getting hurt again by pretending you don't care. But deep down, you do. We all do. We want to love and be loved. We want connection. We want someone to see us and choose us. Just be careful not to let one person's mistake, even a massive one like mine, make you shut your heart off forever. You deserve real love. You deserve someone who respects you. Just take your time. Learn the signs. And yes, protect yourself. But don't turn into someone who no longer believes in love just because I didn't know how to handle mine. To the women listening, don't be me. Don't let your insecurities or need for attention destroy something real. Don't think that because you're not married, cheating is somehow less wrong. Emotional loyalty is everything. Protect it. Nurture it. And if you're unhappy, speak up. Don't go behind someone's back when you can look them in the eyes and be honest. Cheating doesn't just hurt them, it breaks you too. And the fallout is uglier than you can imagine. If I could leave one final message to my ex, just one thing, even if it never reaches him, it would be this. You were good to me, better than I deserved, and I never stopped loving you, not even when I was lost, not even when I betrayed you, and not even now, when you won't look at me. I see now what I had, and I'll carry that with me for the rest of my life. I hope you're thriving. I hope you're smiling again. I hope the next woman you love sees in you what I was too blind to honor. And if I ever have a daughter one day, I'll tell her about you. I'll tell her about the boy who loved me like I was the most precious thing on earth. And I'll teach her to never, ever do what I did. I'll make sure the lesson lives on through her. Thank you for reading if you made it this far. I don't expect redemption, but writing this helped. Saying it out loud helped. Maybe that's the first step toward healing. With honesty and regret,